Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Code for Self. Today we are going to discuss concept of containerization with difference between ECS and EKS, which may be useful during interviews as well as for the concept clearing. But before proceed, please subscribe the channel, like and share the videos and keep sharing your support. So now let's start the agenda of this session. So in this session we are going to see what is container orchestration, its benefits, uh, what are the container services that we have pending the market, that is AWS Elastic Container Service as well as Elastic Kubernetes Service. So let's proceed for the what is container orchestration. So basically, containerization is the way software being deployed and managed, making it more efficient, scalable, and consistent across various environments. So we all know that nowadays it is the era of microservices, where everyone developing the microservices. But where we have to deploy these microservices, so the best answer is for the containerization. The purpose is because in this diagram we can see we have different microservices. We have microservice A, B, and C, and it is deployed on different containers. Okay, it is have its own benefit. First thing is since here we are talking about container orchestration, so it is having its own benefit. If we have to implement something across different environments, things should be consistent. We can do that. We can do the scalability, we can make it more efficient, and we can manage the deployments. So in the same sentence, in microservice deployment, containerization plays an important role for managing containers, scaling and manage consistently in all the environments, that is dev, test, stage and prod. Here managing containers may have below points. So as an maybe admin or as an developer, we should know that uh, definitely it comes to our mind that how to know that our resources are still available. Okay, our schedule to next container, when to schedule the next container, our container crashed or it is healthy. Okay, apply patches to all containers. So if I have to deal with all these things, then managing each container is definitely a tedious job, and that's why we have the container orchestration, that is a concept that come up and that is being useful. Next we will see the benefit of this overall containerization, container orchestration. So we have the benefit, that is it improves the scalability. So basically applications becomes more scalable when you use container orchestration, because the number of containers running simultaneously is limited only by the number of resources available for each machines. So scalability, it's managed by self. If we have any load of microservice A, it's scale the containers, related containers, and accordingly it's managed. Second point is improved security. So container orchestration tools help improve securities because they allow users to manage security policies across multiple platforms. So across multiple platforms like Linux or Windows, it's allow user to apply security policies in all the containers at one time. Improve portability. This is very important point. Containers allows developer to move their applications from one cloud provider or device type to another with little effort. So that is the very important of container orchestration that's provide as an benefit of that. Fourth point that is very important, it is reduced cost. Using containers over virtual machines helps a lot of reducing infrastructure cost because they use fewer resources and have lower costs. Okay, otherwise if, if someone deploy the things on EC2, EC2 is basically it's always running resources having specific uh, resource, maybe the RAM or the size, all are static, that is fixed. But in case of containerization, it's varies, and it's only use that resources which is required. Faster error recovery, this is one of the biggest benefit of using container orchestration, is that it can detect issues like infrastructure failures and automatically work around them. Okay, this helps in maintaining high availability and increasing the uptime of your application. So these are the 4 points. These are the benefit of orchestration, because these kind of questions may ask during interview that uh, what is container orchestration and what is the benefit you are seeing for using the container orchestration. So we can somewhere mention these points. Now let's move to nowadays in trending market. We have two services that is very popular, that is ECS, that is Amazon Elastic Container Service, versus EKS, that is Amazon Elastic Kubernetes Service. Okay, these two are services that is used for containerization. So we will see the difference in between those. Okay, AWS ECS, okay, uses AWS proprietary container orchestration engine. Okay, so it is using the AWS proprietary containerization engine. It is designed to deeply integrate with the AWS ecosystems and offer a simple container management. So if you have to go with some simple container management, there are fewer microservices, there is less complexity, everything is dependent on AWS. I am using all the related maximum all the related services of AWS. I am with the AWS ecosystem cloud. I can go with ECS. But in terms of Amazon EKS, so it is fully managed service for running Kubernetes on AWS. Kubernetes is an open source container orchestration systems that has become the industry standards. Okay, so as we see, ECS is using the AWS proprietary container orchestration, whereas EKS is a open source container orchestration. That's the main difference. EKS provides a managed controller panel for Kubernetes, reducing the operational burden of managing the Kubernetes master node for yourself. So it is so basically EKS we use for complex applications. It's provide more flexibility. Uh, we can use there are other benefits also that we will see in the next slide, but these are our core difference. uh, we can say if someone asks that what is the core difference in ECS and EKS, so these are the summarized point that we can say during maybe interviews. If I go to next, so what are the other difference between ECS and EKS? So one is, as I already mentioned, orchestration engine. So this is AWS proprietary, this is open source Kubernetes. Complexity learning curve. So as I already said, ECS is simple, lower learning curve, especially for AWS user, less to configure. EKS is steeper learning curves due to Kubernetes concepts, pod, deployment, services. Okay, so these are having more configurations. So somewhere learning curve is here more for EKS. Portability, ECS is less portable. Why? Because it's deal with AWS ecosystems services. So as it's also mentioned, AWS centric, making it harder to move workloads to other clouds and on premises. Okay, whereas EKS is highly portable. Kubernetes is an open standard, so workload are generally be moved to any Kubernetes cluster on premises, other clouds with minimal changes. So that's the major difference. Control panel management, because we should know about my containers health and all, so that's why this control panel management is important. So fully managed by AWS, no visibility control panel, to manage. Okay, so everything managed by AWS. Where is EKS? AWS manages the Kubernetes control panel master node. You are responsible for managing worker nodes. Okay, EC2 are using forgets. So forget. So these worker node we can easily manage and we can see that. So these are four major difference between ECS and EKS. If I go more difference, so definitely cost. Cost is no additional charges for ECS control panels. You pay for underlying computes, either EC2 or forgets for other AWS resources. So there is no more, but it is bit high cost. Charging flat fee per EKS cluster per hours, that is maybe $0.10 per hour. Okay, that's about $72 per month, plus cost of underlying compute, that is EC2 or forget for other AWS resources. If I go to next, networking, more managed, simpler networking options. It is high customizable with the Kubernetes network policies. Operational overheads, it is low. Okay, AWS handles most of the underlying infrastructure and orchestration details. It is high even with the managed control panel managing Kubernetes, worker nodes, updates, and all. So it is having high operational overheads. So these are the core benefits, basically difference, I will say, friends, that we can see for ECS and EKS. Uh, that's being asked in most of the interview questions, so I thought to share it with you. And similarly, I will proceed in my next upcoming videos about the hands-on with the EKS. So this is more on conceptual video that I have created. Next topic, maybe if we have to choose ECS or EKS, so when do we choose ECS? So ECS is basically if we are going with simplicity and speed on priority, deep AWS integration. If my all services I am dedicated to AWS cloud user using most of their services, I can use ECS. Smaller teams, limited Kubernetes expertise, then we can go with ECS. Cost sensitive, okay. Focus on application development, mostly stateless workloads, okay. So that's the maybe our selection criteria for ECS. If I go to EKS, then EKS is having Kubernetes standards and portability. Existing Kubernetes expertise is required, advanced control and optimization, complex microservice architecture. So that's why most of the companies which are going through whole microservice architecture, they are using EKS. Stateful workload and hybrid or multi-cloud strategy. So these are the important selections, because this is also very good questions that most of time interviewer ask. What will be your selection criteria for ECS and EKS? So these points, if you mention that, give some different impression on the panel. So basically, these are the for today's topic for this session, friends. So at the end of the session, I would like to say thank you for all your support. The mission and vision of this channel is to simplify the concept and present it in more efficient way. So just keep commenting and keep supporting to this channel. Thank you so much.